What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we are going to continue our coverage over Ultimate Marvel Team Up, and we pick up with issue number 14. Now remember, when it came to Ultimate Marvel Team Up in the early 2000s, it was given to us right after the first story arc of Ultimate Spider-Man. And the reason why, because originally it was technically used as a way for us to explore the brand new Ultimate Marvel universe in the early 2000s by seeing Spider-Man meet other characters in this universe. Now here comes the problem with Ultimate Marvel Team Up. Some of the books are technically not canon and some are canon, but then you have some that are, halfway canon and halfway not canon. Yeah, it gets a tad bit confusing when it comes to where to place these books in the overall Ultimate Marvel Universe timeline. And sometimes most of the books are technically not referenced at all, and so most fans don't care at all. Now today, we're going to cover Ultimate Marvel Team Up number 14, where you have Spider-Man meeting Black Widow for the first time in the Ultimate Marvel Universe. And matter of fact, this story is actually referenced in the Ultimate X-Men story that was written by, Brian Michael Bendis, the same guy who wrote this book, who wrote that story down the road when it came to the Ultimate Marvel timeline. Now, as we dive into today's storyline, we actually pick up 6 months ago in the past, where we actually pick up with the Ambassador of Latveria. Of course, that would be Ambassador Golog. Now, matter of fact, we met Golog in a previous storyline in Ultimate Marvel Team Up, when Spider-Man met Iron Man. Now, that story right there is going to be referenced here in a moment, but as we do pick up 6 months in the past, it's really more of the Ambassador arriving into America for the first time and trying to paint a picture that when it comes to Latveria, it's not a bad country, it's a great country. It is a beautiful country. But of course, we all know it's really a huge lie that the Ambassador is telling. But again, he's trying to paint a better picture of what Latveria is actually like. But then he does run into an intern. Now, when it comes to the intern, he realized there's something off about her, but unfortunately, he has no idea why he feels like that or what could be off about her. Now, we do jump forward 3 months after that moment right there, but we're still 3 months in the past from the present day. But this tells us it takes place right after he had failed to steal Iron Man's tech in the Spider-Man Iron Man Team Up book that we already did. And so now we know that storyline takes place 3 months in the past from the present moment of this book right here. Either way though, we do see Golog being very upset with the idea that he had failed. Now when he does go inside his office, he realized that the same intern he saw 3 months ago is currently in his office for some unknown reason. Now matter of fact, she does tell him that she's in his office to give him his soup, but it seems kind of weird that she's in his office without him being there. And so of course, this makes him even more suspicious about who this intern could possibly be. Now, we do jump forward in time once again, except by this point, we are only 1 week from the present day. And so now we see Mr. Golog once again confronting the intern, except this time it's him saying, you know what, I had enough of your games. I know that you're not an intern here for an internship, that in reality, you're some kind of spy. And actually, he is right, because that is when he pulls off the intern wig to reveal that it was Black Widow. And apparently, the entire time she has been there, she has been placing different kinds of recording systems as a way to record every single conversation that Golog had in his office with other people. Now, when it comes to Black Widow, she does try her best to get the heck out of there because her cover has been blown. But unfortunately, right when it seems like she'll be able to get away, she is shot from behind by some kind of, I want to say taser that basically shocks her and knocks her out. And so now she has been captured by Golog and his security team. But then we have to jump over to the Daily Bugle. Now, when we do, we actually pick up with Ben Urich getting another phone call from somebody to warn him about something going on in the world of the Ultimate Marvel Universe. The reason why I'm saying that because when it came to Spider-Man meeting the Hulk, in that storyline right there, he also got a phone call from somebody to warn him that the Hulk was going to arrive in New York. Either way, in this storyline, he got a phone call from somebody who worked at the embassy, who's very concerned for the ambassador. And the reason why, because it looked like that he had just kidnapped the intern and drove off somewhere. And so she was so scared to call the police that she decided to call Ben Urich, because she saw an ad on a bus somewhere in New York to say, hey, you want to tell me a story? Call Ben Urich. And so she did. Either way, when it comes to Ben Urich, he is telling JJ, but also Robbie Robertson. Now, while he is telling those two people about what is happening, of course, you have Peter Parker overhearing the conversation. And so with him hearing that somebody was just kidnapped, it's Peter saying, you know what? It's time for me to be a hero. It's time for me to be Spider-Man. And so he leaves the Daily Bugle to hopefully figure out where in the world the ambassador had went with Natasha, the Black Widow. But getting back over to Mr. Vlog and also Black Widow and some of his security guys, we currently see Mr. Vlog basically trying to interrogate Black Widow, but at the same time trying to, torture her as well to kind of get the information that he is looking for. Now, unfortunately for Mr. Golog, Black Widow's not somebody you can just easily break. Like, matter of fact, she's not even scared of the man at all. And so when he tries to scare her, try to torture her, she's kind of like, you know what? Keep trying everything you want to try on me. I'm not going to break that easily. Now, with all that being said, you do have the Black Widow being able to get close enough to Mr. Golog, break out of her binds, and actually snap his neck, killing off Golog just like that. Now, real quickly, before he had died, he did mention that he does work for Victor Von Doom. And so we're left to believe that if this story is canon, by this point in the timeline, Victor Von Doom had already took over Latveria, which means that possibly Ultimate Fantastic Four Volume 2 had already took place in the overall timeline of the Ultimate Marvel Universe. But at the same time though, this story was not really referenced again besides Ultimate X-Men and one particular story arc. Either way, she is able to break free, kill off Golog, and get out of the building. Now, as soon as she is able to exit the building, well, that is when Spider-Man is swinging by. And when he does, he realizes a young girl who's running out the building looking kind of scared or possibly worried could be the missing person that he was trying to find. And so, of course, he does swing down, he grabs her, and they do get the heck out of there. Now, when it comes to Black Widow, she does kind of play the whole game of, oh my god, I'm in danger, can you please save me? And of course, Spider-Man falls for it, grabs her, and they get the heck out of there. Now, of course, you do have Black Widow kind of play more mind games with Spider-Man, because as soon as they are able to reach a rooftop, you have Spider-Man realize the police had arrived at the scene where she had technically got saved at. And so he's kind of like, hey, let me go ahead, swing you back down there so that you were able to tell your side of the story. But she's like, nah, I don't want to. Now he's wondering why in the world this young lady does not want to go down and tell the police her side of the story if she was, kidnapped. Except you didn't have Black Widow get kind of close to Spider-Man, where it seems like she's possibly making some moves on Spider-Man. And you can tell Homeboy is just freaking out. He has no idea what to do here. Now, when it comes to this storyline, it most likely does take place after he already told Mary Jane that he is Spider-Man, and most likely the two characters are dating. So for Parker, it's kind of like, yo, what do I do here? Do I make out with Black Widow, or do I be, faithful to my woman? Unfortunately, it was a trap, because as soon as she gets close to him, she is able to kind of inject some kind of chemical that of course knocks him out just like that. Now, before Black Widow is able to leave, that is when she is confronted by Nick Fury. Now, with this section right here being the last section, it does kind of give us some ideas that Black Widow was technically a free agent, that she was not working for S.H.I.E.L.D. at all when it came to that mission. Matter of fact, the reason why she went after Gold Log is to kind of prove that she's actually worth something for S.H.I.E.L.D., but also for Nick Fury. She was looking for a job. And so when Nick Fury realizing what she could do, he's like, you know what, let me go ahead and bring you into my organization. Now, the story does end on that note where you have S.H.I.E.L.D., Black Widow, and Nick Fury leave Spider-Man behind knocked out, but you do have Nick Fury kind of hint the idea that sooner or later him and Spider-Man are going to talk, which we already know they're going to. They're going to have a close bond in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. But you do have the book also tell us that very soon the Ultimates Volume 1 is going to release. And in that book, you're going to see more of Black Widow, which we honestly do. But this does end the actual story for today's video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.